the licensed professional counselor, OPC, right?
Yes, sir.
So if you ever get a chance, if you do need counseling, it's free for you as a student. So I would highly encourage you to take advantage of that. I know if I want to get that same service, if I want to go to counseling, it's going to cost me like $150 per session. So it's pretty pricey if you go out and get it. So here at Socrates College, it's free, and some students are hesitant to use those services, but but it's free for you. It's very helpful and it's very useful. So don't be afraid to use that service. Okay? So she's going to tell you a little bit about that, and she'll give you some great tips. Also, some reminders: if you haven't registered, please register for spring semester. Also, if you haven't done your FAFSA for 2026, 2027, next fall, next spring, meet with your advisor here, and we'll help you get that done. Okay. All right. Now we'll go ahead and turn it over. Thank you.
You guys gonna leave this in case more walk in?
Yeah. I can do it.
So hi, my name is Joanna Perez. I am with the Health and Wellness Office just across the street. So if y'all don't know where we are located, you will walk out the front doors of the library and just go across the street, across that big parking lot. And our office is that very corner office. You'll go around and go in. It's very, very easy to find. And we are there to help students completely free of charge. We house, of course, counseling. We also house disability services. And then the clinic is right next door to us as well. So, and those are free services for you if you're a student here in Level. So what we're going to talk about today is stress management. How many of you are actually stressed right now? Yeah. Me too. I am ready for this Christmas break that is very, very close. But what I want to talk to you is I want to talk to you and normalize a little bit of what stress is. Why does stress appear? And kind of realizing when is stress too much? When is it too much stress? So what we want to do is help you manage it so that your life doesn't seem overwhelming. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about what is stress, causes of stress. We're going to compare a little bit of stress versus anxiety because we all have sometimes we compare those two and they work hand in hand, but it's realizing when is it anxiety and when is it just my regular normal stress. Some stress management techniques. We're going to talk a little bit about mindfulness, relaxation, time management, building a support system, and having a healthy lifestyle. So what is stress? Stress is actually a body's natural response to any kind of pressure, challenge, anything that's scary. Your body's going to release some hormones that are going to cause that stress, right? While small amounts of stress are very, very normal, like we want you to have some stress. When they become excessive, when it becomes too much, when all you can think about is that situation, then that's when it can become harmful for itself. So this right here is what we call a stress performance curve. So this is what I'm talking about. We all need stress. So if we're very low, right, nothing bothers me. Everything kind of just slides off of me. I'm not really stressed about anything. Life is just blah. Then we are technically in that very green. So you're bored. You're inactive. If a class is not challenging you, you're probably not going to want to do the work. You're not going to be involved. You're not going to enjoy it. And that's going to lead to not successful you, right? You're going to feel unchallenged. You're not going to enjoy it. So the reality is that we want you to have a little bit of stress so that it motivates you. Stress is a motivator. It is what pushes us to be active. It is what pushes us to learn more. If I feel challenged in a class and be like, okay, this is really interesting. I really want to learn more. I'm going to keep going. And that's going to cause me to be more successful. Fair. So of course you see like healthy pressure, it goes up, and the peak performance is going to be that very middle ground where it's optimal stress. So I don't want you to say, hey, I don't want to ever have stress in my life, because the reality is that's just as harmful as having too much of it. It's learning to balance what is too much stress and what is actually what I need. Of course, once you get past that peak, of course, you're going to get to overwhelming pressure. That's when we start to talk about exhaustion, anxiety, burnout. I did too much. This class is too much. I can't do it. It's completely shut me down, right? So what I'm looking for is I want you in the optimal level, confident, in control, productive. I'm really who's felt in the zone one time in their lives. Like this is where I need to be. That's optimal stress, right? So realizing that it is a curve and we can go from side to side is very important. And it's maintaining that middle ground. When you're at high, when you start falling, you're going to start to feel distracted. fatigued, overwhelmed. This is usually when I start seeing clients, is when they're like, I don't have the motivation. I don't have the desire. I'm tired and I'm feeling overwhelmed. This is when I see them. Do I want them to reach the very red? No, right? Because who can function when they're in burnout? Nobody, right? And the reality is what it says here is I can't handle this anymore. This is when we drop classes. This is when we stop coming. This is when we stop showing up. So finding that balance is the main goal and what we want to teach you. And realizing that we need a mid-ground there. So what causes stress? Can any of y'all have any clue what causes stress?
Not being able to handle things.
Not being able to handle. Self-pressure, peer pressure, self-esteem, right? A lot of times causes stress. So the stress is caused by a variety of factors. A lot of them can be external. So my test is tomorrow and I'm stressing out really, really hard. Some can be internal. I don't think I can pass this test. So is that going to create stress? Yeah. So many factors go into if we feel stressed or not. So it's school, work pressure, financial problems, personal lives. How many of us are stressed by personal lives outside of school, outside of work? The reality is a lot of us, right? Personal relationships are stressful. Life changes are stressful. Y'all are college students. I think every day that you are here brings on a different sort of stress. So being aware that this is present in every day is very, very important. How do we find that middle ground? Okay, so I want you to keep that picture in mind. How do I find that perfect space where I'm not either on one side or the other? Fair? That just right space. Stress versus anxiety. So a lot of the times when we have someone that comes in an overwhelming state and they're like, I can't do it anymore. I'm feeling really tired. I have no motivation, all of that. We are in a very important space in the middle, right? So regular stress is, oh, I have a test in 2 days and I'm really worried about it. But once we take that test, that stress is going to go away, right? And then we go into a part where it's stress and anxiety. So stress and anxiety can both affect mind and body. So you're going to worry excessively a little bit. You're going to have some uneasiness and some tension. Still, at that point, that stress can go away. So I get the test done and I'm able to let that go. When we move into the anxiety part is when it's internal, right? It's our own thoughts that kind of are driving that stress. And even though I took the test, I can't stop thinking about the test, or I can't stop thinking about a situation. That's when it goes from stress to anxiety. I want you to realize that stress can be positive or negative. So stress is not always a bad thing. It might inspire you to meet something. It might inspire you to do something. But when it becomes excessive and we start moving into the anxiety place, that's where it can become harmful. Okay. So anxiety involves a persistent feeling of apprehension and dread that doesn't go away. And that interferes with how you live your life. It's constant, even if there's no immediate threat. So when we've moved over to anxiety, it's no longer just I'm scared of what's going to happen or I'm scared of the test that's coming up. It's I can't stop thinking about it. Fair? So how do we deal with stress? Do any of you feel comfortable telling me how you deal with stress?
I wanted to go to the gym and practice Kung Fu.
Okay, cool. Active, right? Being active is a very important part of stress management. I was stressed this morning before I came over here. You always stress right before a presentation. So my coworker made me do squats. Probably not the best idea right before walking over here, but we're trying to do something, right? Anybody else have any thoughts? Singing. That's awesome. Yeah. Music, singing, listening. Just listening to music is a very, very good way to help that stress. It brings you back to the reality, right? A lot of times with stress, we're hyper-focused on the future. Oh, that test is tomorrow. I can't stop thinking about it. But bringing yourself back into the now helps relieve that stress. And that's what exercise, that's what music, that's what all these things do. One thing that I brought for y'all today, and it's something that we use a lot in therapy, it's sour candy. So a lot of times if I have a person in a very high state of either stress or anxiety, I will give them a sour candy. And I'm going to have them eat that sour candy. And then they're going to notice the difference because that sourness is going to snap you back into reality. It's going to make you focus on that now. Fair? So I'm going to pass these around. If y'all take 1, 2, 3, I don't care, just so you have some. If you're feeling stressed, pop one of those candies and see what that feels. See what that awareness feels like, okay? So there's many ways to manage stress. So we have exercise, we mentioned, right? Meditation, yoga, time management, and developing hobbies. Do y'all have hobbies?
Yes.
You try, right? I know that as students, most of my students are like, I don't have time for hobbies. We need to find hobbies. We need to find positivity to include into our daily life, even if it's something very simple and very quick, because that's what distracts you from the stressful things. There. So what we talked about as well is mindfulness and relaxation. So when I say mindfulness, it scares a lot of people because they're like, I'm not going to sit there and just meditate. That I don't have time for that. Mindfulness is very much different, in which it's just being present. Just like I told you earlier, being present in that moment, being aware of the space that you are in right now, and assuring yourself that you're safe. Does that make sense? With stress, a lot of times we go into fight or flight, right? We're scared, something's off. So coming back into the reality of the present moment, it's what helps us bring that back. That's what the candy does, right? That's mindfulness. Eating a sour candy and realizing that it shocks your system, that's mindfulness. Sitting in your class and doing a breathing technique, that's mindfulness. Does your neighbor have to know what you're doing? No, that can be just for you. There's a very simple breathing technique that has become one of my favorites. It's called 4-7-8. So you can do this anywhere. You can do it on your desk at school. You can do it when you're driving, and you just take a deep breath in through your nose and you count to 4. And then you hold that breath for 7 seconds. Then when you're done, you blow out that breath for 8 seconds. So it's very simple, but it's one of the most effective ways to kind of regulate that self there. So if y'all can try that, look it up. 4-7-8. It's a great slow breathing technique. There's also like box breathing, the 5 senses. There are so many things out there that y'all can look up that gives you some ideas on how to use mindfulness to relieve some stress. Okay. Mindfulness is a practice of focusing your full attention on the present without judgment. Mindfulness exercises and relaxation techniques such as deep breathing and meditation help calm the mind and relieve stress. Oh, keep going too fast. Okay, so time management. This is probably one of the biggest things that I get brought in when we have someone that cannot handle their stress anymore is time management. I'm having a really hard time keeping up with things just because time management is something that I haven't learned. So learning time management and using those skills helps stress. Does that make sense? We prioritize managing your time well and breaking large tasks into smaller chunks so that can reduce stress. If I tell you go study, that's not going to help you because you're going to overwhelm yourself even more. If I tell you, hey, give me 30 minutes and study for 30 minutes, and then you get to have a break for 30 minutes, that's probably going to create more motivation for you to study, right? So what I want you to do, instead of thinking of a big chunk of things, break it down, make it more manageable. Because what I do when I say just go study, that just overwhelms your system. Fair? It creates more stress. Cool. So building a support system. How important is it for us to have support, where it's parents, family, friends, someone that we can rely on, a therapist, someone that we can talk to and be ourselves with? How important is that? Very. So getting support from your family, friends, coworkers can help reduce stress. They're students just like you. The people in here are students just like you. They are probably feeling some very similar things to what you're feeling. Communicate. Feel like you are part of something because you are. Okay? Be open with other people because you might be shocked to know that they're feeling the exact same thing. And that normalizes your experience. That helps release that stress. Okay? So social support plays a vital role in any kind of stress management. If we're dealing with something alone, it becomes heavier. Fair? So healthy lifestyle choices. Adopting a healthy lifestyle includes regular exercise, getting enough sleep. How many of us get enough sleep? No, it's hard to get enough sleep. But the reality is, how many of us can function without sleep? No, we need sleep. We need movement. We need to be involved in something so that we are aware of our surroundings. Fair? If it's affecting your functioning, then it's a sign that we need to prioritize our sleep. Okay. Avoid alcohol, cigarettes, any kind of substances that will hinder that is also very important to make sure that you keep a healthy lifestyle, right? Good physical health contributes to mental health well-being. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually gonna, we're going to watch a video. I have a few videos, but I think we're just going to do a couple of some stress management. Before we do that, do y'all have any questions on what stress is and the need for stress in our lives?
When you say need, you mean you're just referring to that that need to feel challenged?
That optimal level, right? We need a little bit of stress to motivate you. As humans, that's how we are. If we don't feel motivated, if we don't have that little bit of stress, we won't be challenged to do the things. That's even not even with school. I mean, it does work with school. Like I've had a person that's like, this class is just not challenging. I don't like it. It doesn't do anything. So what happens is they don't like it. They don't do the work because it doesn't feel challenging enough. And then they fail. Is it because they didn't know the content? No, it's because they didn't enjoy it. They didn't feel like they were going to get anything out of it. Fair. In life, right? Sometimes being around people is very difficult, right? But we have to challenge ourselves to be social in order to create a safe space where we feel comfortable. So some stress is very normal. It's that fear, and fear is the emotion under stress, right? That fear that challenges you to do something. It's that fear that challenges you to be something. Fair.
Yes.
So a little bit of stress is okay. Finding that optimal level is an amazing thing to do. I'm going to be honest with you. There's never going to be just the optimal level. You're going to bounce back and forth sometimes. And that's okay. It's learning to understand it. And everybody's stress is going to look very different from the person next to you. Fair?
Yes.
Any other questions on that? No? Let me see if I can get this video fixed, okay?
Give me 2 minutes.
And this is a little active, okay? So I need y'all to move around a little bit.
You have to use a TV remote.
Can I? Okay.
Give me 2 minutes and I'll show you something about stress. So stress is the physical aspect of anxiety, the fear emotion. Stress is how anxiety shows up in our bodies. It comes with things like an increased heart rate, shallow breathing, muscle tension, stomach problems, and headaches. So take a second right now and check your back and shoulders. Do you feel any tension there? Odds are good that you do. So go ahead and relax. No, really, relax. Relax. Now, for most of you, this did not work. It most likely actually made things worse. So now you may be feeling stressed out about feeling stressed out. This is the paradox of emotions. The more we try to make them go away, the more we magnify them. But all is not lost. That does not mean that we are powerless over our emotions. We just have to go in the back door sometimes. So try this instead. Notice an area of your body that's feeling tense. It may be your shoulders or your face or your back or your hands. Now, I'm going to ask you to lean into that tension. So with the shoulders example, I want you to try to exaggerate that tension. Hold them up hard and tight around your ears. Clench and harden those muscles. Really feel those muscles tighten and hold it for 5 seconds. It helps if you scrunch your face. Okay, now soften those muscles. Breathe out. Let's do it one more time. Tense, tighten. Now, check in with your shoulders. For most people, this helps them soften and relax those muscles in a way that they weren't able to do by just trying to relax. And that's a curious thing with emotions. They don't respond well to being dismissed, ignored, or avoided. Often, they're just asking to be noticed or acknowledged. It's like our stress is saying, hey, just notice me for a second and then I'll move on. But when we are constantly trying to keep our emotions at arm's length, our emotions act more like a toddler saying,
Mom, 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 mom.
what? And when you finally give them your attention, they say,
I need Patty, I need Patty.
oh, good job, you're the best. And the kid moves on. Now, if we really want to have choice with our emotions, we have to be willing to spend a second and lean into them. Comment below, what are the emotions you're most afraid to sit with for a second? Thanks for watching and take care. I'm excited to announce my upcoming course called How to Help, Powerful Tools to Help When Someone You Love Struggles with Mental Health. I'll be including some videos here.
So what did y'all think? Does that make sense? We run away from emotions, and stress comes from an emotion. Probably one of the scariest emotions that we face as humans, right? Fear. How many of us want to walk along with fear? Nobody, right? Everybody's like, there's a reason it's called fear, right? The reality is when stress appears, it's a sign from your body to do something. Fair. It's a sign from your body that something is scaring you, something is causing you distress, and it's something that maybe we need to manage, right? If we let that get out of control is when we become to get burned out, right? Maybe I took on too many clients this weekend and that's why I'm so tired. Fair? Is that my fault? Probably. My brain told me, hey, slow down. And I didn't listen. Fair? Also, she mentions we all feel stress in very different manners. When I'm stressed, I get tension in my neck, on my shoulders, and I can feel it. I also talk too fast. Did y'all notice how fast I talked today in my presentation? Yeah? That means I was stressed. I was worried. So my body just starts talking really, really fast because it's trying to get past it. Fair? And that's something that I've learned about myself as I've done more presentations, but the reality is it still happens. Fair? Does that make me a bad presenter? No, that makes me aware of what I need to work on. Fair? So what I want you to sit with is, where do you feel that emotion? Where do you feel your stress? When stress appears, what part of your body feels it? How does your body show it to you? Any volunteers to tell me what they feel? Yeah?
My shoulders.
Your shoulders?
Yeah.
And that's very common, yeah. Anybody else?
On the same shoulders.
Shoulders? And the reality is, like, the amount of different answers that I've gotten through my work is so crazy because people have gastrointestinal issues. They vomit when they're nervous. Some people have just pain in their hands, pain in their arms. They can't, and your headaches. Yeah, headaches are a big, big sign of stress. And it's acknowledging that, learning that about yourself, and then learning how to move forward. Fair? What she did teach you was called the body scan. So you find the areas of your body that are tense and you tense them more. You give it attention and then you release. There's a really cool one that you can do at night. Like you can start from the top of your head and do it all the way to the tip toes. And that creates some really big relief. So if y'all are interested in that, I would recommend trying that, especially to help sleep if sleep is an issue. Another thing I noticed is y'all laughed. When you laugh, did you notice like it kind of helps relieve some of that tension? It kind of helps relieve some of that stress. Joy and smiling and laughing releases a lot of hormones that are the happy hormones, right? And guess what those fight off? Stress. So if you're feeling really stressed, watch something funny. Smile at people as you walk down the hall, and I guarantee you that's going to make you feel better. Fair? She is also really funny. She's on YouTube, Therapy in a Nutshell, and she has some great tools as well. I could have put like 30 videos of her if I could. So if y'all are interested in watching more stuff, she's on YouTube, okay? So the next thing I'm going to show you is a little bit different way of mindfulness, and it's breathing, okay? Okay, it's not going to be. Okay, this one's a 1 minute video, but it's about breathing. So if y'all would breathe with this one and see how that feels.
We all love to kick. We can't stop. It's that Absolute commercial.
The excellent one.
Hi, this is Dora. Today, we'll be trying a grounding technique to help settle your mind and body and rediscover a sense of balance whenever you need it most. No matter what's going on around you, whether you're experiencing feelings of anxiety or racing thoughts, you can always take comfort with this visualization intended to help you feel more grounded and balanced in this moment. Start by placing your feet on the floor or sitting in a comfortable position. Take a cleansing breath in and out. Closing your eyes and feeling the weight of gravity, feeling the earth supporting you. Now, visualizing a strong, sturdy tree planted firmly into the ground. Its roots anchoring deep down into the earth and its elements. Leaves drifting away in the breeze. And just like those leaves, thoughts will always come and go. Feelings will always come and go. But from this anchored point of view, we can take a step back from those thoughts and see them from what they are, rather than what we expect them to be. By acknowledging them and letting them go, we're able to create a deeper connection with the mind while staying firmly rooted in the present moment and embracing all the different aspects of our lives. You can always come back to this whenever you need to reconnect to a sense of groundedness or reconnect with your environment and surroundings. Thank you for watching. Have a healthy, happy day.
What do you feel? There's some sense of calm, and this is a really short one, so I want y'all to know there's longer ones that you can sit for 5 minutes, and it makes a big difference. It's becoming aware of the things that you carry, and it's becoming aware of the fact that they're there for a reason. Fair? So what I want to emphasize is everybody's different. Everybody's techniques are going to be different. For some, this breathing is going to be amazing. It's going to create a whole lot of health. For some, breathing just doesn't work. So it's finding what works for you, right? If you need to be more active, maybe we need to find a more active mindfulness technique. If breathing works for you, then maybe this is the path to go. Does that make sense? And I think that's why I wanted to show you 2 different routes of what can this look like. Fair?
I know you mentioned sleep, then there was one for sleep. What I do, because, you know, us as college kids, we can't turn off our brains.
Yeah.
We can't.
Yeah.
So what I do is I close my eyes and I focus on the feeling of my feet.
Mm-hmm.
And then from my feet, I feel them start going numb, and then it travels up.
Mm-hmm.
And that helps me fall asleep.
That's what we call the body scan. The same concept. It's very much calming from like kind of every part of your body holds a different kind of stress. Every part of your body holds a different kind of tension. So becoming very present in what they feel like and letting that go creates that sense of peace. And yeah, 100%. It's very hard as y'all have too much on your plates. And sometimes it's hard to turn that off. Fair. And that's why we deal with a lot of, I can't sleep because my brain won't shut down. So that's why it's very important to find the things that work for you. Just like that, right? You've learned that helps you sleep. Wonderful. Keep using that. Fair. For some, it might be going for a run right before bed and wearing themselves out. But that's how they get to rest. That's how they get to release that stress. So that's a great example. Thank you for sharing. So by implementing proper stress management techniques, we can maintain emotional, physical balance to live a healthier, happier life. Is stress ever going to completely go away? Is it going to go away when y'all graduate school? No. Stress is something that we all have to deal with day in and day out. And it comes in very different forms, and it comes in very different ways. And every time you're going to have to learn a new way to manage it. Fair? When y'all finish school, you might be at a job where you're on your feet all day long, and being active just seems more stressful. And the reality is in that moment, your need might shift to something more mindful and breathing and things of that nature, right? Or you might be working in an office all day and you're like, I don't want to sit still. I'm tired of sitting still. So you might seek the active things. Find what works for you. Find what helps your stress be more, I lost my train of word, be more positive, right? Find what works for you to make that stress more positive. Also, if you notice that you are leaning towards that red side of that curve and that things are just too overwhelming and you can't function and it's affecting personal, school, work life, then reach out and let us know. Because our goal is to help you find balance. Our goal is to teach you those techniques as much as we possibly can. So, like when I say, we are located right across the street and services are free for you. So, as finals come up, the end of the semester is wrapping up, things are going to get stressful. And knowing that those resources are there is a great place to start. Okay. Also, I gave a stress management tip worksheet. So those are little tips that y'all can implement in your life every day and just see how that works for y'all. Yeah. Any questions? No. Okay. That's all I got.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you could do your survey, please, and then we're going to do a drawing.